Welcome to Emotional Healing for Christian Women, the podcast where faith meets inner healing. Imagine waking up without the weight of shame, guilt, fear, and loneliness. Imagine finally feeling worthy, confident, and at peace. And doing this with God by your side. That's the healing we can begin together. I'm Marvel Adeyemi, a psychotherapist and a faith-led women's coach. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. Today I have with me Faye Matete. I'm the CEO of Asuna Group. I'm so excited that Faye is here in the studio with me this morning. And I will just jump into it and ask Faye to introduce herself. And she's going to tell us all she's been doing with the Asuna Group, how she embraced her purpose, and the challenges she's had to overcome, and share her story. And I hope that inspires us to lean into embracing our purpose. Thank you for coming, Faye. So glad that you're here.
Thank you so much, Marvel. It's a pleasure. My name is Faye Matete. I am a Christian first and foremost. And about 7 years ago, God laid it on my heart to go into marketplace ministry. So Asuna Group, at Asuna Group, our mission is threefold: to support Christian entrepreneurs by discipling them, actually, and then to sort of galvanize and activate the faith-based investing so that Christian investors can easily spot other Christian innovators and support them through that journey. And then lastly, to champion Christian faith thought leadership in industry and government so that Christians have a greater voice in the issues of society.
Wow, that's a lot. But you're having to navigate. When I looked at your Facebook profile, I recognized that you have a training in pharmacy psychology. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the journey starts earlier than 7 years ago.
please
So the
talk.
journey starts about more than 40 years ago, but so at uni I studied pharmacy and I thoroughly love pharmacy. I love health. I'm actually pursuing integrative pharmacy course, so more holistic
Yeah,
approach to health. So yeah, I really love that health and well-being space, which I know I'll get back to at some point.
yeah.
But at the moment, my hands are filled with Asuna Group, but I also work for a Christian charity organization called Destiny Rescue.
Okay.
Yeah, so we rescue children from sexual exploitation and human trafficking, and so and make sure they stay safe.
Yeah.
So those are the things I juggle. I'm also a mother of a 22-year-old, so it's not as busy nowadays. And I wish, I look at my sisters and their younger children, and I kind of wish I missed that age. So as much as we want our kids to grow, they grow fast. So
Oh,
enjoy
they
the time.
do. I'm so glad you shared part of your journey and your parenting stage now. And that is quite interesting because I could hear how that you said in this season you're focusing on Asuna. But back then you were studying and you loved pharmaceuticology. And um, I'd like you to talk a bit more about how you pivoted.
Yeah,
How you
that's right.
pivoted from.
Yeah, and it's been a series of pivoting because for
Mm,
me, I think it started I guess more like 12 years ago or more like 12, 15 years ago when my journey with God and my faith sort of took center stage. And that was at the back of, and usually sometimes there's pain associated with it. So I'd just gone through separation and then subsequently a divorce. So I was a single mom in my early 30s, and Yeah, my son was young, and so divorce is it's a pain that I don't think I think we underplay it and underestimate it. And yeah, for me, I needed something to steady me, and I felt that my faith did that. I wanted to be a present mother, and didn't want to, transfer my issues to my child. So I felt that, I mean, faith is what I knew at the time. No one really pointed that I needed counseling. I mean, I did counseling. I think I did like 5 sessions that, you know, is recommended when you go through the process. Especially, it was centered around parenting. So I just cared about my son. So I didn't really think about myself, because at that point you just sort of, everything's heightened, right? So yeah, I wish at that point I charted a course of self-awareness and emotional healing at that time, but I didn't. But having said that, one thing I thank God is that when you don't know what to do and you kind of hold on to God, that's not a bad thing. You can still be delayed, you can still be, but at least you sort of starting on the right footing and on the right course. So yeah, about 12 years or 3 years into that, yeah, just started hearing downloads from God. I guess I would spend a lot of time from God, and I always say that we should, like, I can probably easily identify people who pray, because people who pray take action.
Oh,
Yeah, so yes, I would just hear from God and what's on the heart of God, and I would think, oh my God, I can't do this. Like, I don't have the money, I'm not qualified to do this. Like, Lord, I'm a pharmacist, I'm not a business person, even though I did a postgrad in commercialization. So I loved business, but I didn't have a business. I was not running a business. And the things God was telling me was like, that you will teach from experience. I'm like, Lord, I don't have a business to teach from experience. So it's kind of this journey of faith, of just trusting God and building. But one of the key prayers I prayed was about 8 years ago, when I prayed, God, bring my destiny helpers. I think that's a very key prayer anyone can pray, because that just sort of launched me fully into my purpose, because then God brings these people who support you, who channel you to the right place. Often what God is telling you, you haven't seen it before. And I asked God, Lord, what you're asking me, I haven't seen it. And then he brought me an entrepreneur who's doing that. And then I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. And so, yeah, it's amazing to journey with people who are like-minded. And then it's only the last sort of 2 years have I gone back to counseling. So I feel like this is it's very topical for me. Emotional healing right now is quite topical for me, because I started with inner healing, like sort of, I don't know if you've heard of Elijah House, but I did some work with Elijah House.
oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, so Elijah House, they're Christian ministry, and they do inner healing,
Okay.
so emotional healing, that looks at your past, and there are a lot of overlap with what you do as a psychologist, but more from a Christian perspective. And then I subsequently found a psychologist, and yeah, and oh my God, I was like, why didn't anyone tell me I needed this? Honestly. And now my psychologist can't get me out. He's like, Faye, I think you're okay. I'm like, no, I'm coming back. Yeah, so I feel like I can see how not seeking healing earlier has held me back, has delayed a lot of things that God would have done in my life, and has maybe not brought out the best person in me, or the best Christian in me. So it's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. You just shared so much there. And I'm going to lean in into the healing and the benefits. I once read somewhere that you've got to hire strategists on your team to have them in your corner, your accountant, your lawyer, and your psychotherapist as well.
Yeah. Now I know.
They're they're the smart and clever way to have people in your team that are just to help with the mental health aspect. I also love that you mentioned the Elijah House Ministry. I'll look them up. I love to connect with people that are practicing emotional healing from the Christian framework. It's so important. The reason is because we've got to anchor our healing in faith. We can't anchor in ourselves to heal. We've got to anchor in someone greater than us that is bigger than our hurt and that has promised that he heals the brokenhearted. You may have noticed I'm going to host a women emotional healing for Christian women sometime in February. I'll put that detail out. But so anyone listening in, if you're interested, please, I'll leave the notes and the link. Do send in your express your interest. It's just limited number of about 6 to 8 women, 2 nights. We'll dive into emotional healing from a Christian framework. It would also be a forum where women can connect, high achieving women who are really holding space for others in business and career, but also need a space where they can rest, they can really breathe and exhale and know that they are in a safe space, connecting with women of purpose as well. So, God is doing something amazing in our times.
Oh, that's exciting.
It is.
Yeah. I would love to be involved.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Tell me a little bit more about at the core of Asuna work. What are you most passionate about?
Passionate about what God is doing in this time and season and era, because I do feel we've entered a different era that we haven't seen before. And in this era, I think someone prophesied, one of the fathers of the faith prophesied that the next big move of God will be in the marketplace. And I would extend that to say it will be family businesses, family legacies. So I see marketplace and family going hand in hand in this era. And to be successful in both, you need healed people, you need whole people. So for me, if I would bring it back to one thing, it's the
Yeah,
one. It's the one person I'm called to, the one entrepreneur in front of me, the one investor in front of me, the one leader in front of me. Like, how am I showing up for the one? Because that's all I'm called to do, to show up for the one. Um, so just to bring out the gold in them,
yeah,
to share the love of God with them.
yeah,
That's what it is. And then whatever God allows us to achieve together,
yeah.
that's almost extra.
Oh, that's so good. I wanted you to speak about some of the common emotional blocks that prevents that Christian woman in particular who is called to the marketplace. What is one common emotional block that is a barrier for them to pursuing their purpose?
Yeah, one is hard because I have about five, but anyway, I think one for me
Yes.
has been that I don't know if I've completely navigated it, but I think fear of success. Because fear of failure is almost like we've talked about it, like it's more talked about. And you almost know how to navigate fear of failure. You just fail fast. It's learning. and all that. But I don't hear fear of success, fear of your greatness, fear of your voice, fear of embracing life, of saying yes. I think sometimes we glorify the no. and yes, no is important because it's boundaries and we have to set them. But then there's that wounded person who now is a wall, a fortress, and no one can get in. And as you know, there's an epidemic of loneliness. And so in an epidemic of loneliness, what are we actually talking about? Maybe we need to think about what are the themes now? Because maybe it's different from a previous season. And or hand in hand with boundaries, give them tools in which to open up and say yes. There's, on the one hand, it's a no. On the other hand, it's a yes. How do we navigate that? Otherwise, we find that we can be stuck in the same place for years, and in some part of our lives that's affected, we're just stuck. And it's hard to say yes because you're so terrified. You've been so discouraged. And I don't think we do enough to encourage those who are emotionally broken among us.
That is so profound. Being afraid of saying yes. Wow. As you were talking, I realized I was asking myself, am I modeling enough, holding space for other women, when I say yes to what I know God is asking me to do in this season? Because that's what happens. I think that a lot of us do not recognize how powerful it is to model bravery, to show up on your socials, to take that podcast and just record it, to start that channel, to write that book, to start that business, and how when you do, and I do, and I see you doing that and you see me doing that, you feel encouraged, you feel motivated, and go like, if she can, I'm hopeful I can too, and stepping. And your beautiful story, for example, leaving a career in pharmacy and maybe not leaving altogether, but pivoting. I like to use the word pivot.
Yeah, I don't think I talked about that. Yeah,
Sure.
maybe I can bring that back around. So in 2020, I decided, hey, I don't want to be in the dispensary. I want to work from home. And I had no idea what work I could do as a pharmacist. So when my contract finished in May of 2020, I was actually looking for a job for 3 months. So after 3 months, I got a job working for a health data company, it's a testimony in itself, because they created a role for me. Because the role I interviewed for, I was not best suited, but they created a role for me, and that was amazing. And then moved to Melbourne, and then worked for the Alfred Hospital in a project management perspective, digital health. And then towards the end of 2023, just felt God's saying, pray for the keys of the kingdom for Melbourne and Victoria. And I didn't know what that meant, but I prayed, and I felt the burden didn't really lift after a couple of months of praying. And I said, Lord, does this have anything to do with me? So as my contract was ending last year in April, I jumped onto Christian Jobs because I just felt, hey, maybe God is saying kingdom. It's kingdom everything. So he gave me this hashtag kingdom everything. And and I got a Christian, a role with a Christian charity. So now, my day job and side gig is kingdom focused. So glory to God. So that's how I pivoted. But really, it's just following God, really. I don't think I didn't plan it. But I think God put the desires there, and I just kind of said
That is
yes.
so special. Just a moment, please. I believe that is so special because it's such opportunities are not common.
No.
Yeah, they're not common. Again, it just shows how God can be intentional with positioning us when we yield completely. With God, nothing is impossible. Now you're doing the work that you love, earning an income from that, and you're doing that at the center of God's will. And that's a beautiful thing. That's one of the miracles God can do. It's interesting because yesterday I was speaking with another lovely woman of God, and she's qualified, has qualifications in an area. And she said to me, I have been looking for a job and I haven't found. And she was going to settle for a role that she was way overqualified for in a totally different sector. And it wasn't going well either. And then I asked her, can I ask you if your finances was going well, say your husband was earning an income that was sufficient for the family, would you really like to look for this kind of job you are looking for? And she said, no, honestly, I don't want to work. I want to do something. I love to be an at-home mom. She's a mom to a large family. And she said to me, I love to be available for my children, nurture them, and maybe do something else from home. And I say, yeah, I think you should pray about it. Maybe the delay is so that you can lean in inwardly, really, and not
Mm.
be afraid and say yes, like you said, Faye, and have the courage to say yes to what you know your heart is pining, because you know God puts desires in our hearts. Sometimes we think we own these desires, but God actually puts it there. And then we wrestle with accepting the desire we, because the desire intimidates us. And we're like,
Yeah.
surely it can't be God. It will be a miracle to have this kind of life, what my heart is telling me. And because it's too good to be true, it's so good to be true. Like there is peace with it, there is prosperity with it, there is alignment, divine alignment with it. And you know, as women, our health is also important. You're not going to burn out with it. You can sense that. You will feel rested in it. Then it intimidates us, and we go like, no, surely it's just my mind.
And that's common. It's not just in the place of work, eh? And that's where I say fear of success.
Yeah,
It's actually a thing. Fear of what if I'm in this place of well-being and
yeah,
flow and yeah, and just in the center of God's will. And it's scary in
yeah,
a way. We fight with it.
yeah. All right. As we round off, I'd like you to talk about one practical step you took that helped you overcome the fear of success in your own corner.
Yeah, so I think even before I knew what I was fighting, even before I knew what it was, I think what helped me was leaning into my faith, my Christian faith, because the the Bible is amazing and following its teaching, even if you don't know what it's solving in your life, it's solving a lot. But obviously, I'm not a perfect Christian, and the next thing that helped me was self-awareness, that actually finding out, actually, this is a thing. And in fact, it's funny you brought about that example, because last year when I started this role at Destiny Rescue, my boss, who's a pastor, who half of the organization, they're pastors. He said, Faye, whatever masks you might have worn in the past, now is the time to drop them. This role, you will succeed when you're authentically yourself and 100%. And that was amazing. And then God had actually spoken to me to say, hey, any issues you have with money, they will be obvious in this role because you're actually fundraising. You're dealing with money. So he was telling me, sort out any issues you have with money. And money is also like a reflection of a fear of success because when you're struggling, it's like, why is there something there? Yeah, so I think being self-aware was the next thing of like, okay, I might have this as an issue. And then I reached out to a coach who she coaches executives and business people around success. And she's actually a psychologist. And just in a couple of sessions, and I love EMDR therapy because that's what I've used. Yeah, so she really helped me to be, obviously it doesn't solve everything in one sitting, but you become self-aware and you stop yourself. You're like, wait, why am I making this decision? And then you pause and actually you might do different and not just be unconsciously doing the same thing. And then I also think holistically as a person, being a healed person makes you show up in an integrated form, right? Like you're present, you're integrated, you're not fighting yourself. Because I always feel like peace, when we talk about, the Bible says, seek peace and pursue it. And I think we should seek peace with God and oneself, and only then can we extend it to other people. And that's going to counseling, like seeking peace with God, obviously, that's your faith, but yourself, go to counseling. Like we all have things in our lives that make us do certain things, behave in certain ways. Counseling has really helped me just to navigate through any blocks with fear of success.
Thank you so much for talking about therapy and the benefits. I'm an EMDR practitioner, and
Okay.
I totally understand what you're saying. Most of my clients are like, I have never had a session like this. It feels like a magic, like literally. I can't remember that challenge. I feel like it's a new me. And sometime when I started practicing EMDR, I I just noticed that it cut short how long my clients stay in therapy for an issue. Initially, when they start canceling sessions, I used to wonder what's going on here. But I later found out that they were okay. So they didn't
It's so
do the flesh.
effective. It's so effective. And so now I
Yeah.
still go to my therapist, but it's other things. I can talk about other things. I can optimize myself. I can learn. Even learning, because I feel like everyone should have a basic knowledge of psychology in a way that makes them self-aware of how they work. Just like health. Just like, we know to take Panadol when we have a headache. But I didn't know much about psychological care, self-care, psychological self-care. We don't really know what that is. Um, yeah, so yeah.
I wish we could go on and on, but we'll be concluding here. Faye, you will definitely be coming back on the podcast. We have a lot to unpack for the marketplace, faith and emotional empowerment, particularly for women. I love that you have integrated your faith in God, emotional awareness, and healing, and how that also has kind of opened you up to purpose and embracing it. And you are just downloading divine downloads into your mind, ideas for businesses, and I know that a lot of women out there are seeking that as well. So if you're listening in into the podcast, yes, I do provide EMDR. EMDR is such a powerful technique. Prince Harry in the UK, that was one technique he used to overcome his mom's passing on. It's on the website. You can just go Google Harry and EMDR. I usually um, inform my clients, and they come back, oh, I didn't know that therapy has been there all the while. Yes, it's very effective. And I love that one by one, we are hearing the voice of God in this end time to step out into the marketplace. Qualified women, high achieving women, women that are driven for Christ are taking their place. And Faye, I think next time we'll talk about your organization, what they do about rescuing children. That is really important. And how those listening in might want to be a part of that movement, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. I will, yeah, no, we'll connect around that. And I would love to talk also more about Asuna. We're
Yeah.
doing some amazing things that I knew we didn't have time for today, but
Yeah.
on another session.
But where can our listeners reach you, contact you?
Yeah, so you can, I guess, my socials are down at the moment, but we have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
Asuna Group.
Okay.
Shout Asuna Group. We have a website, asunagroup.com. And you can reach me, faye.matete at asuna.co.nz.
Yeah, I'll leave all of that detail in the show notes. So if you're
Yeah, and
listening in,
LinkedIn.
yeah, and LinkedIn, correct. LinkedIn is another fabulous place. And so thank you very much for coming in today, Faye. I hope that you will come back.
For sure, you're not getting rid of me.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, listening to other episodes, the current series I'm doing is Heal First, Date Better, Heal First, Live Whole. And I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, Marvin. Bye.
Thank you for spending time with me today on Emotional Healing for Christian Women. If this episode blessed you, please leave a review and share it with a friend who needs encouragement. And don't forget to download my new book, Beyond the Hurt, from my website, marvelademi.com.au, and other free resources. Until next time, stay healed, stay beautiful, and stay confident.